Hi, I'm so glad that you're here today. I'm Erin. I'll be your trauma-informed yoga guide for class. And I've been teaching yoga for about 10 years. Fun fact about me, I'm a cat person. First and foremost, I want you to know that you are in charge of your practice. Sometimes when people think of yoga, they think of perfecting a shape or those fancy pictures on Instagram. And that's not what we're going to be doing here today. Rather than focusing on what a pose looks like from the outside, we're going to be using different shapes, movements, and breathing exercises to help tune into your own body, breath, and emotions. So it's really about turning inward and more about your own internal healing experience. This practice can be a place for you to care for your body and nourish your emotions, your spirit, if you're into that kind of thing. And in order to heal, there needs to be a sense of safety. I take safety very seriously. And your sense of safety can take some time to restore, and that's perfectly okay here. Safety can't be rushed, it can't be forced or faked. So as we move through practice today, I just want you to notice the shapes, movements, and moments when you feel even safe enough might be a good starting place. And even to honor when there are moments of defensive-ness or resistance, noting that the body has its own wisdom and there's really a good reason for those defenses to come up, especially with a history of trauma. And so as you notice defenses or resistance, again, you're in charge of your practice. And so if you ever feel like it's a no and you want to take a break, you're welcome to take a break and meet up with our movement as you feel called or ready. So one of the things that I will do to help support your sense of safety during practice is to offer options in each shape that we practice throughout practice today. And the idea is that if you meet yourself in your practice in each moment with what feels most true or helpful in your body in each moment, then you can practice this kind of sense of being in relationship with yourself and your body, and also empowering yourself to make those choices for what's most nourishing for yourself as you move out into the world and off of the yoga mat. So as we get started, you're welcome to settle into your mat. Let's start by just orienting to the room first. So you might turn your head from side to side to look around the room, the space. This is a safe space. And ultimately, we are physical bodies and beings. We're animals, and our nervous systems are hardwired to assess safety. It's healthy and normal for our bodies. So we'll take this just a little further. You might even plant a hand off to one side. You can turn and look behind you, just to let your nervous system and your big, brilliant brain know that I'm safe here in this space. There's nothing behind me. I'm seeing this safe space. And as you scan the room, again, one more time, maybe looking behind you, let your eyes rest on one thing that is a cue for you of calmness or safety, maybe even comfort. And let your eyes rest in that place in our space together, knowing that this can be a resource for you, a place to come back and check in at any moment during our practice. You might tune into sensations of where your body meets the floor, noticing the sense of weight, connection or even softness in those places. And now feel the sensation of your hands. You're welcome to move your hands in any place where you feel maybe more grounded and connected. It might feel nice to move your hands on your legs or even plant hands out on your mat beside you. Again, noticing more of the sense of weight through the hands, connecting with the ground and the sense of groundedness. And again, this is another tool that you're welcome to return to at any point. I'll invite you to start to bring your hands together, rub your hands together, notice the sensations in your hands, and maybe even moving fast enough that you get a sense of heat building in the hands. If you're like me in the winter and your hands are kind of cold, we'll help to warm them up, encourage a little bit of friction and blood flow in the hands. Practice this just another 30 seconds or so. You're always welcome to stay and practice a little longer. And as your hands feel warmed up, you might choose to bring the soft pads of your fingers or your thumb just to massage your hairline. We start at the top of the forehead and find an amount of pressure or even gentleness that feels helpful. And we'll move from the forehead out towards the temples and the upper or inner ear. Then you might repeat this movement a few times. And just notice how that sensation feels on the forehead. You're welcome to let your hands rest back in your lap. You're welcome to let your eyes rest in one place, or even let the eyes close. And notice just how your body feels. Notice if there are any physical sensations. Notice your breath moving in the body. And notice if there are any emotions present in this moment. And with all of this, we'll just take an attitude of open curiosity. There's no right or wrong, no good or bad. We're just building a relationship with ourselves, just checking in. And how you doing, buddy? Noticing how you feel. And we'll check back in with this throughout practice. Next, you might bring the soft pads of the thumb to just between the eyebrows or the third eye space and find just a gentle massage from that place in the forehead along the ridge of the eyebrow all the way out to the temples. You might even make some circles at the temples. You're welcome to repeat this massage a few times. Again, noticing the sensations that you're feeling between your hands and your face. Next, you might use your fingers and the pads from the outside of the nostrils to massage the cheeks, maybe finding the ridge of the cheekbones, drawing a line just below the cheekbones, out towards the ears a few times. You might use your pointer finger and thumb to gently massage the ears, maybe just along the ridge of the ears. Repeating that a few times. And you might use the pads of your thumb to draw a line from the bottom of your ears, following the ridge of the jawline all the way out to your chin, massaging your jaw. Maybe use thumb and the tops of the fingers as well. Notice how your jaw feels as you draw this line of your jaw. Relax your hands back to your lap and let your head lean to one side. You might find a stretch along the side of the neck and the top of the shoulder. One option is to let the same side fingertips reach towards the floor for just a little bit more of a stretch. But more isn't always better, so maybe you see how it feels, decide if that's for you or not. Another option is to let the chin lift and lower. You may notice the sensation kind of shifting more from the front of the neck to the back of the neck, all on that one side. On your next breath in, welcome to lift your head back through center. And you might see how it feels to bring chin towards your chest and let the weight of the head lean forward to gently traction along the back of your neck. On your next breath in, you're welcome to lift your head, then lean your head to the other shoulder, finding a similar stretch for side 2 of your neck, the upper shoulder. Again, you have the option to stay here. You might see how it feels to bring same side fingertips up towards the floor. Or even to bring the hand back to your lap and to lift and lower your chin a few times. You might move as fast or slow as you like. On your next breath in, you can bring your head back through neutral. And let's use the hands to gently squeeze the shoulders all the way down your arms to your hands. Again, returning to that gentle self-massage. You can repeat this a few times and decide how much of a squeeze you'd like to give your arms, even exploring different sides of the arms. And then after about 3 times, we'll switch sides. And squeeze the opposite shoulder, moving down the arms to the hands. Notice the sensations in your arm and in your hand as it squeezes your arm. Maybe one more round. Next, I'll invite you to feel into your spine and hips simply by letting your shoulders rock forward and side to side. You may explore here. Bring your feet out in front of you, keeping a gentle bend in your knees, and just let your spine round forward as well as your shoulders. Even here, you might notice gentle sensation in the low back and the upper hips. And again, option to find a little bit of movement over the shoulders from side to side. You're welcome to explore this a bit longer. When you're ready to move on, and this time you might take both hands and we'll gently squeeze the legs, starting with the thigh. Notice and feel your thigh. Move down to your knee, squeezing your calf. Gentle squeeze of your ankle and your feet. You're welcome to skip any areas. Or conversely, as we repeat this a few times on the same side leg, maybe you find a certain area of your leg, your calf, or your foot that needs a little bit of extra time, attention, and love. You're welcome to pause and focus there for a bit. As you're ready, you're welcome to move on to the second side. Gently squeeze each of your thigh, your calf, and your foot. Maybe in this moment there's an area that you skip, or an area that needs a little bit of extra love and attention. You're welcome to pause and feel into and work into that area. You're welcome to take your time, stay a little longer. As you feel even on this side, you can return to any comfortable seated position, or if you would prefer, you're welcome to lie down on your mat. We'll take just a moment to pause and feel again, as promised. Option to keep your eyes open, maybe letting them rest in one place in this room, or option to let your eyes close. And take just a moment to notice how your body feels after the gentle self-touch from your forehead all the way down to your toes. Notice if there's any rebound effect in your body. You might notice your breath in this moment. The relative length of the inhale and the exhale, even where it's moving in your body. And again, no right or wrong, just information that we're gathering as good yogi scientists. Next, you might notice if there are any emotions present in this moment. As you're ready to move on, I'll invite you to meet me back in an upright seated position if you chose to lie down. I invite you to plant your right hand out to the side. You can bring your left hand onto your right knee, and we'll turn to look back behind you, finding a twist through the length of the spine. Again, letting our nervous system know we're safe here in this space. On your next breath in, you can unwind the twist. We'll turn to look over to the left fingertips out to the side, right hand on the left knee, and then you can turn to look behind your shoulder. You may notice if you feel any sensation through the side of the body, the rib cage, that sense of the twist of the spine. Next breath in, come back through center, and on your next exhale, we'll twist back to the right. You might choose to turn the head to look back behind the shoulder, or just off to the right side. Maybe not turning the head quite as far. For that matter, you might explore letting your shoulders twist a little bit more to the right, and letting your shoulders twist a little bit more towards the front of your mat. You may notice that there's a space somewhere in between those options that feels like your signature in this moment. Next breath in, we'll move back through center and twist back over to the left. Option to look to the side or to turn to look back behind you. Let's see how it feels to bring the shoulders more towards the front of your mat, a little less of a twist. And then see how it feels to twist your shoulders a little further to the left. And then find your signature shape in this moment, in this twist, where you feel a sense that you can meet yourself, and where there's a sense of ease in this moment. On your next breath in, move back through center. I invite you to roll your shoulders up by your ears and forward a few times. And then option to roll the shoulders up and back in a backwards direction a few times. You might explore rolling the shoulders forward or back here, or you can choose to plant fingertips on your shoulders and draw big circles with the elbows up and back. And then as you're ready, roll the shoulders forward. Next, I'll invite you to move to tabletop shape or hands and knees. If you notice any discomfort or pain in your knees or wrists, you might grab a blanket for just a little bit of gentle padding. And from here, we'll explore movement of the spine. As you breathe in, you let the belly lower and look up. As you breathe out, you can let the low back And the shoulders round, look back towards your thighs. And then you're welcome to find a rhythm with the length of your own breath. So for the full length of your inhale, belly lowers, you look up. The full length of your exhale, your spine rounds and you look back towards your thighs. Option to stay here or to let the rib cage reach out to either side a little bit as the spine or your spine rounds and finds more extension. I'll meet you back at tabletop shape. An option to explore circling the hips forward, out to either side, back towards your heels, and out to the other side. You might choose to move a little bit more fast or slow than I do. You might make bigger circles with the hips, or maybe even smaller circles with the hips. Circle your hips back in the other direction. And now if you remember our last movement, cat and cow to round the spine and lower the belly, I'll invite you to explore here from hands and knees. So maybe you find kind of some sort of fusion between cat and cow and circling your hips. But the idea is to really meet yourself and your body in this moment. So really, any movements that you find the intuitive call to explore from hands and knees. Welcome to just kind of play for a moment. Maybe you feel inclined towards repeating the movements that we explored before in cat and cow, circling the hips. We're finding a way to meet those movements and make it your own. Welcome to continue to explore if you like, and as you're ready, I invite you to child's pose, a shape where you bring hips back over your heels and let your head rest on the mat. You might make a little pillow with your hands and turn your head to one side. You might see how it feels to bring your knees a little bit wider in space. See how that feels for your belly and your hips. And then see how it feels to bring knees in closer to one another. And then choose whichever option or variation works best for you. Knowing that in a different practice and in a different moment, you're welcome to choose something completely different. Notice how your body feels in the shape. And if there's a sense of perhaps spaciousness in some areas of the body, even a sense of groundedness and connection with your mat and other parts of the body. On your next breath in, I'll invite you back to hands and knees. You might walk your hands just a little bit closer to the top end of your mat. And see how it feels to extend your left leg out. Maybe you even find a little stretch for the back of the leg, back of the knee, the calf. And let your knee bend. Extend your right leg out. Noticing if you feel sensation in the back of your leg, your calf. An option to explore that one more time. Extend your left leg back. And then your right leg. Just a little bit of core strength and balancing. Next time you extend your left leg back, you might explore lifting your leg off of the mat. And you might even find a gentle shift of your hips back just an inch or two to feel a little less weight in your hands. And you might explore lifting your right arm away from the mat as well. Notice if you feel a little bit of activation in your breath, some activation of your core muscles to stay balanced here. And after another breath or so, you can return your hand and knee back to the mat. On your next breath, welcome to extend your right leg back and lift your right foot off of the floor. Again, shift your hips back just a little bit for counterbalance. And then left hand lifts forward. Maybe you find a strong line of engagement through your heel, through your fingertips. And it's okay to move and find this balance and a little bit of movement or activity. Notice if there is a tendency to want to hold your breath. Keep on breathing. And you can return hand and knee back to your mat. Option to head back to child's pose with hips back over heels, or to curl your toes under, press through your hands and lift your heels up and back for downward dog. But we'll let down dog be mobile. You're welcome to let your hips shift side to side, maybe bend into one knee at a time. And notice the effect on your breath. If possible, see if you can find a sense of ease and flow in your breath. Maybe even breathe through the mouth a few times. And then I'll meet you back in any comfortable sitting shape. If you prefer, you're welcome to lie down on your mat for a final rest. That'll conclude our 30-minute trauma-informed yoga practice for today. But before we close, let's take one more chance to check in with your body. So again, you might find a place in the room for your eyes to rest. Option to let your eyes close if that helps you to feel more sensitive. Notice how your body feels. Notice your breath. And notice any emotions that are present now. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you have any questions or want to chat about anything that came up during practice, I'll be here for the next 10 minutes and you're welcome to come chat with me. Thanks so much. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.